My mom always said, money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty doesn't buy anything. So stressful not knowing if your lights are going to be on, or if you break a leg, are you going to have to go begging on the street, or if you're going to have to prostitute yourself next month because you don't have any money for books. It's a constant stressor, and it's bad for your health. It makes you there are studies that show it physically makes you sick, and you're the person who can least afford to get sick.
Alexis Wilkinson has written for HBO's VEEP and Fox's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She initially pursued a degree as a biomedical engineer, but changed paths, making a 180 to becoming a comedy writer. And it paid off pretty quickly. In her junior year of college, she was named the president of the Harvard Lampoon, a historic magazine with a 140-year history. In our conversation, we talk about PC culture, dick jokes, the art of bullshitting, and how to create a fallback plan. If you're easily offended by foul language, then you might want to turn this episode off right now. Though if you're cool with it, I think what you'll find is a very insightful, deep, and funny conversation between myself and Alexis. Though, either way, you've been warned. Do you like the Ground Up Show? Are you a fan of the podcast? If so, you can do me a huge favor right now and go over to iTunes and rate it. Ratings help with the visibility so more people can become aware of the show and hopefully gain something from it. Each one is greatly appreciated. And with that said, let's start the show. You're listening to The Ground Up Show, a podcast that inspires creatives to make meaningful content and pursue their passions. My name's Matt Diavella, and I'm a filmmaker best known for the Netflix documentary Minimalism. And I'm sitting down with creators to talk about their process, the lessons they've learned, and how to make an impact. We just got this table in yesterday.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. We just went to the West Elm catalog and said, we'll just have everything. Just get us
West Elm. Look at you coming up in the world. Not even IKEA.
Yeah.
I go to West Elm.
Real marble.
Ooh.
Watch out. Don't spill your coffee.
Oh, fuck
Actually,
me,
you can. Because
right? My piece of shit IKEA bullshit. I just
Flurgendergenherg. I just upgraded from the Flurgendergenferg. That's what I had before. Yeah, I like this though, because you know what? It's the round table.
It's got some heft to it, and heft means wealth. You know,
it actually does.
It's like this. The slaves that had to bring this up here.
Yeah,
they did not enjoy it.
Oh my god, it was these two huge hulking guys, and I was they were just sweating, and I was like, oh my god,
right? And and you're just sitting there like, yes, bring me my table.
That's when I knew I made it.
Peasants.
Yeah, that's when I knew.
Put it here.
I was like,
that'll do.
Yeah, but don't scratch it.
Be gone. Be gone. Your stench is unappealing.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't a good look. But yeah, I used to have this IKEA table here, and it was all set up, and I had the wiring. I basically left this entire setup all the time. It was in our dining room, which is in a small apartment.
Right.
And Natalie wasn't a big fan of that. She wasn't.
Well, yeah, it'd be hard to eat, and I'd be afraid of knocking one of these, I assume, expensive items off onto the ground.
We didn't eat here. We would just eat on the ground over there, in front of the TV.
The gourd, in front of that lovely gourd display.
Yeah, in front of our gourd display.
While you summon the pumpkin ghost.
Nobody's gonna have any idea what that means. All right, let's start.
He has a gourd display. That's what it means.
This is going off the rails. That's
like I like my podcast. All right.
All right, cool. So let's just start the show, if we didn't already. So Alexis, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
You sound very excited.
I'm suspicious.
You're suspicious of what's to come next.
Yeah. I'm just a very suspicious person generally. So I'm still feeling it out.
Seeing if the tough questions are gonna come.
Yeah, exactly. What hard hitting things? What skeletons?
I dug deep.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Did you call my mom?
I did. No, I didn't know that was an option.
No, it's not.
If I had known.
No. So one time the Chicago Tribune called my mom without talking to me, and she gave them the craziest quote. I can't remember what she said. It was.
You didn't get to prep your mom. No, and give her,
I didn't get to tell her don't say something crazy, and she said something crazy. I can't even remember what it was, but I got really mad and I called them because I talked to them afterwards, and then I found out when the article came out that they had talked to my mom, and I was like, don't talk to my mom. You don't get to call my mom without talking to me.
Yeah.
How dare you?
That's a no-no in the journalistic community.
I would think so. I mean, right? Yeah. Because it's my mom. My mom's crazy. You don't know what she's going to say. And you just call her up and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. Will you just talk to me about your daughter? She may be like, yeah, what's wrong with the bitch? And then you're going to put that in your, you got to give me a time to tell her and be like, hey, mom, don't be drunk.
Yeah, you need to be there next to her, like squeezing her leg.
Oh,
like,
she's gonna
don't
hate
say
this so much. Cut all of this. Cut all this. Let's start over. She's gonna call me drunk on a podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
We just got started.
This has already crashed and burned. Okay.
This is like my favorite podcast so far already. I sometimes think when I'm working on the podcast and when we're actually having a talk, I'm like, all right, like that came across, like I sounded stupid on that, so I'm gonna help rephrase that right now so then I can edit it out.
Right.
But we're talking so fast.
Okay.
That I'm like,
slow it down.
Yeah, it's just gonna be weird. It's gonna be like we're gonna be rapidly talking, and all of a sudden it just like cuts to us being calm and collected.
Well, I mean, we can start over, right?
I was actually just messing. I actually like it. I like it fast.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all right. That's weird.
That was weird.
Came out weird.
That was weird, man.
I didn't think it was good. It's like halfway through the sentence, and I was like, you know when you're like halfway through a sentence, and you're like, it's not coming out.
I regret this.
But I have nowhere else to fork this.
Nope.
This
There's
sentence.
no way to like add a preposition on the end or something. Nope.
My dad's like that. He's got no filter at all. So he'll be halfway through a sentence, and then he'll just stop. And then he won't finish it because he's like, it's better to not finish the sentence.
I think you're right. You know what I've actually learned that I'm going to try to do a little bit more, and I'm going to try to do it now, is like taking more pauses or just lengthier pauses between like at the end of one thought and beginning of another, instead of filling it with like and you know people never think you're stupid but if you ask me a question and I take a pregnant pause and then I answer with some beautiful, insightful, like poet laureate shit, you're just gonna think, oh my god, what a genius. You're not gonna think, oh, she took 3 seconds to answer my question.
Yeah.
So
the first time that I did one of these podcasts and I watched the video back, I was really anxious to watch it because what's going on in my head isn't actually what's happening in person. Because like in my head, I'm thinking like, oh my god, I'm fucking this whole thing up. Everything is going wrong. Right. I'm thinking, all right, what should I say next? What should I ask next? Just trying to keep up with the conversation. And then I watched it back and I was like, oh, like I just wasn't saying anything. I was just smiling and nodding. Like nobody knows that you're losing it.
Right. Yeah. Inside my head is just a bunch of people. It's what's that? There's that GIF where there's like file cabinets on fire and people just running around. It's from SpongeBob. It's like that in my head all the time.
Yeah, just chaos.
It's a SpongeBob episode, and not one of the better ones either.
Yeah. Let's for people who don't know who you are and the work that you do, let's give them a little bit of background.
Sure. My name is Alexis. I'm a Libra. I'm from Wisconsin, specifically Milwaukee area. I write and direct comedy. I've worked for VEEP, a show on HBO. I've worked for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a show on Fox. I wrote and directed a sketch for Funny or Die. I perform sporadically, and I come on podcasts sometimes. And sweat a lot.
It's sweat. Sweat is a big part of it. But if you're not sweating, you're not working.
Right?
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a little while. It wasn't always what you had thought you were going to get into from the beginning. Is that right?
Of my life?
Yeah, from when you were born. It's like you're like I'm going to be a comedy writer.
I thought I was going to be an astronaut princess. Princess of the moon.
It can still happen. Right? It can still happen.
There's no princess of the moon yet.
There is none.
Right?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That position is open.
Yeah.
And I am sweating my way there.
Yeah.
For your sweat alone, I'm going to get there. I think it's so weird. I know some people who say, oh, when I was 7, I knew I wanted to write comedy or do comedy. And I think that's crazy. You must have been some sort of weird sociopath. Like, you didn't want to, you didn't want to do something practical. One, how rich were you? Were you like, Mom, Dad, I must dance, or whatever. Or I must do comedy. I'm like, I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like not having a lot of money. I want more money. So whatever, I watched The Cosby Show. I was about to say R.I.P. Bill Cosby. Might as well. R.I.P. But I just wanted to be Claire Huxtable. I wanted to be a lawyer. And my mom wanted a doctor and a lawyer, and she almost got it. My sister is in med school right now, and I write penis jokes for a living. So
so that's a big change from what your mom thought you were going to get into.
Yeah,
she's got to be proud of you, though.
No, she loves it so very much.
Does she get upset at the dick jokes? She's like, can you just clean it up? Like,
no, actually, that's my sister. It's so funny. I'll send her. I do it less now because I realized it's exploitative. But I used to send her everything that I wrote, and sometimes she would see something and say, oh, cunt, Alexis, do we really need to use the word cunt right there? Like, is that really necessary? Just think about it. Just is it really necessary? And I'd say, fuck yeah. And so he was the one who was just saying, oh, it's a little too blue for me, Alexis. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But she's very classy.
It could be worse,
lady.
though. That could be a worse reaction than that. It
Yeah.
seems like, because that's one of those words that is visceral for a lot of people.
It is.
You just own it. The way that you walked into it, and you called me a cunt earlier.
Nobody needs to know that, Matt. That was between you and me. That was a special moment.
Yeah, before we started the show. But I don't think everybody can pull that off. You can't just walk in here and do that,
Okay,
but you did.
You
And
act
it felt
like
right.
I walked in and said, hey, cunt. I didn't say that. That's not what I said. You
that would have been better.
What's up? I do greet my friends with what's up, dickheads.
Yeah.
I do that. Like, I was just at dinner the other night. I walked to the table with two people and said, what's up, dickheads? And I sat down.
That's good. It's endearing.
Oh, you think so? You think I'm endearing?
I mean, if you like, it just shows comfort with other people.
Right.
Maybe I'm looking too far into it. Maybe you're true.
I think you're right, because I don't do it with people I don't feel comfortable around. Dickhead is one of my favorite terms of endearment.
You could probably tell when somebody's not going to get it, and somebody's not going to be cool with being called a dickhead, or if they don't have a sense of humor,
right?
Which they probably deserve to be called a dickhead,
right? I mean, I can totally understand some people. I feel like I can read my audience pretty well. I didn't think you were going to say, "Get out."
Yeah, this podcast is over.
Flip
the marble table over.
Slaves, clean this up and get this negress out of here. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I'll be in my boudoir.
Yeah. It didn't happen. And we just started the best podcast ever made. We're doing good so far.
I've dropped the word negress now.
Yeah, you did.
Oops.
You did.
I'm killing it. I'm hitting all my points.
Yeah. You got your talking points before you started.
Hey, cunt, got it. Negress, got it. Call my mom drunk, got it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. You did. You're doing good. This is gonna be hard. Because it's like about this. This is like all over the place.
Okay.
And it's about your story.
You gotta rein it in, man. I mean, I'm just.
I got a Charlie Rose. I gotta get Charlie Rose on you.
Or Diane Sawyer.
Yeah.
You know, get in there. What do you want to know? What's
Where did it all start?
Where did it all start? I feel now I definitely have to look wistfully off.
Yeah.
Where did it begin? Where does it end? Isn't that the real question? I would say, okay, comedy writing for me started. I didn't really start writing comedy in any way, even semi-seriously, until high school, and that was because I was just a math and science kid. I did science fair and just sort of, AP Calc, and I was really kind of a big honor student, really type A, taking a billion AP courses and wanting to kill myself. So that was fun. And I don't know, I didn't really see it as like a viable hobby in a real way, just sort of something I did for fun. I always kind of, when I was younger, I would make little songs to remember sort of math facts, or like if I was studying for a test, I always would make like a funny song to the tune, like If I Only Had a Brain, for algebra. I remember that. Or geometry. It was a geometry song, I remember. And I was really bad at geometry, and so I thought that was funny. And I journaled and stuff, but what kid doesn't journal? If you don't journal, what kind of little kid are you? Write something, okay? Yeah, be literate. But it wasn't anything serious until high school, and in high school, myself and a really good friend of mine started a satirical newsletter called Amateur Night, and we were the Knights. That was our mascot at our school. Go Knights. And so it's a very clever pun.
Yeah.
Highbrow. So we started that, and it still exists to this day, I found out. And we recently wrote for it. The new editor contacted us and asked if we would write a sort of a letters from the old editors, and basically we just the whole conceit of the thing was kind of, why does this still exist? Why are you still doing this? Like, the Onion is there, right? Like we did it because we were stupid. You guys keep doing it, and we don't know why.
Just destroy their hopes and dreams.
Yeah, we're like,
they're gonna
this
get
is
some
dumb,
wisdom,
guys. Like, we did it. We were dumb. You're dumb.
Yeah. You don't realize how dumb this is.
Yeah, you don't even know. And the Onion's been around for years now. We started it because the Onion was kind of, people don't know that it was like a bunch of UW-Madison grads that started The Onion, and I remember getting hard copies of it in like Qdoba next to the Real News. And so it was kind of a takeoff of that. But The Onion's been around for years now, guys. I'm like, you don't need to do this.
Professionals are
right? There's like a real place for this. You know, several real places for this. You don't have to do it here. But they continue for reasons unknowable. Right. Because they're little idiots. Yeah. That's why.
They don't get it.
You're stupid. You know, you're what, 17, 16? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Just jump off a cliff. Like, forget it. It doesn't get better.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's so hard though, because at that age, you know, like, are you gonna make anything like worth?
You're nothing. No, you're not gonna make anything good. It's
not like, you know, back when like Newton was like doing his thing, like he made up geometry, but he's like 1 in a million.
Right.
Most people are just like.
Yeah, you're not gonna nothing.
But you have to do it. You gotta make stuff.
Right. I take that back. Don't jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Make some stuff. That's the actual advice that I give. And I try to be sort of I keep really poking your marble table, and I know it's making you nervous.
Yeah.
Like, her poor fingers are on my table.
Don't touch it.
Peasant.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get the cleaners over later.
Yeah. I'm just really poking the shit out of it because I'm impressed.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about?
You got to go out and do stuff. Encouraging
people to do stuff. I try to be a mentor figure. I did Young Storytellers, which is a great program, last year, and you help third graders write a screenplay, and then real actors go and perform it. It's really, really fun.
That sounds hilarious.
And my kids' screenplay was called Randy Savage's Crazy Dream. And I can only describe it as a mix between Chicken Run and Inception.
Wow.
And it's as amazing as you think it was.
Yeah.
And one of my friends said, "Oh, you know, do you just write it for them?" And I'm like, "You think I wrote Randy Savage's Crazy Dream? Like, I know I'm a hack, but come on now.
Yeah.
Let's give me a little credit."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of word scramble things together.
Right. It was like some generator of play names.
And on the board, we've got Randy Savage and a Crazy Dream. All right, it's not an improv show.
Yeah.
But it was.
So you're doing this in high school, and then you're starting to prepare for where you want to go to college.
Yes.
What did you have in mind at that point? Did you have big hopes and dreams?
I applied to 18 schools. I just wanted to go somewhere on the cheap, and go somewhere where I felt like I could kind of figure out exactly what it was I wanted to do, because I applied to schools as biomedical engineering. If you can believe that. Can you imagine me being an engineer? What?
Yeah.
Who would trust me to engier something?
Yeah.
Like fix their broken arm with some sort of biomedical? No way.
I feel like you can't look around and call people cunt when you're a biomedical.
I walk into the surgical office. What's up, dickheads?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Let's make some bionic legs, stem cells.
Yeah. But she was the best in the world. There was nobody better.
Her stem cell research was revolutionary.
Yeah.
She still called everyone in the room a dickhead.
Oh, that's so good.
No, I think I would have toned it down. I didn't get this way until recently, mostly because of functional alcoholism. But
yeah.
This is full of vodka.
Yeah. That's why you brought your own.
Yeah, you didn't see what I put in here in the bathroom.
It's true. It's true. That's why you were in the bathroom.
Not trying.
Sniffling when you come out.
Yeah. Oh, no. I probably look like I'm on drugs. I promise I'm not on drugs, Mom.
Nah.
I promise.
Yeah.
I'm just sweaty. It's hot. It's kind of hot.
Yeah, it's a little hot. I got the air going.
Yeah. But so I applied as biomedical engineering, and I was sort of just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I kind of immediately realized after I got into school, because I got into MIT, and that kind of became the choice of whether I was going to go to MIT or Harvard. And I visited MIT, and I liked MIT a whole lot. And I kind of was in love with Cambridge, just the whole idea of it in the place, and having all those schools so close together, which I think is really cool. But I kind of realized I don't want to be an engineer. And if I don't want to be an engineer and I go to MIT, that's stupid. The only reason I should go if I want to be an engineer and I don't go to MIT, that's really stupid. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of just like, to be or not to be engineer. That was kind of a first big fork in the road.
That's a big decision to make at 18 years old.
Right? No one should have to do that. But I think I.
So you went with your
one.
fallback, which was Harvard.
Tough. Safety.
It's a tough
safety,
choice.
safety.
Yeah, everybody's got to have a safety school.
Oh gosh,
but that's a big decision because that's the next 4 years plus of your life.
Yeah, and I don't know. I get very anxious. I'm a Libra. As I didn't mention that, and so I'm very indecisive. I just like using that whenever I make a really bad decision or can't decide anything. I'm like, I'm a Libra, so you can't stop judging me, please.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear, like my moon is in the 7th house or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
Mercury's in retrograde too.
Right?
So let's give everybody a break.
Like I'm sweating because of that, so like just back up.
Yeah. That's a good thing to have in the back of your back pocket.
Right? Some like tarot cards.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you see this? That's why this is happening.
Yeah, my spirit animal is a fox,
Right?
and I just saw a dead fox.
So you like this is actually discrimination what you're doing right now? Just judging me about like my actions and the words that I say?
Yeah.
What? Who how dare you? How dare you?
Who are you?
Right? How dare you like think about the words I say and what they mean and what order I put them in?
Yeah.
And what I do. What? Crazy. Insane. Life is insane. But yeah, so I guess I decided not to be an engineer, and then I got to Harvard and I said, okay, well, if I'm not going to be an engineer, what am I going to do? And I picked economics because I had taken economics in high school and really, really enjoyed it. And I done something called the Fed Challenge, which is the nerdiest thing now I realize it. It's you pretend to be the Fed board, like the Federal Treasury Board.
The hell?
And you debate.
As kids do these days.
Right? Just like a normal teenage thing to do, right? Put on a little power suit and pretend to be the head of the Fed.
Like Model UN is one thing.
Right? But like Fed Challenge is a whole nother level of,
Holy
future
shit.
Bernie Madoff bullshit, you know?
You were going straight to the top. Like you had big ambitions.
No, I wanted to be head of the Fed, man. I was like, tax policy, man. Tax breaks, let's do it.
Get it.
Get it. And I just wanted to make money.
Yeah.
And so I really liked also psychology. So I ended up doing economics with basically a minor in psychology. So behavioral economics, decision science. I worked in the Harvard Decision Science Lab for a while. That was super dope. So I was doing all that. And then my freshman year, I switched to economics, and so I'm saying, okay, so I'm going to study economics. All right, what else am I going to do? Am I going to get a Spanish citation or something and study abroad? Am I going to play a sport? Not good at that. I was Wisconsin, okay, So like Harvard, terrible.
Yeah.
I was okay at Wisconsin.
Not going to join the road team.
No. I remember not knowing what crew was. I remember getting to campus and being like, crew?
Yeah.
Like what? A crew of what? What kind of crew? What are they doing? They're like in a boat.
Crew
like,
up.
Yeah. What? I'm like, yeah. I totally pictured nice 1800s racing togs, and that's exactly what they wear. They just wear the big like 1800s swim trunks, and they're like, they might as well have like big curly handlebars and just be like, oh
yeah. They take it seriously. It's like
it is, and they look damn good. I'll tell you that.
I haven't seen them up close.
Many a crush on a rower.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, you the coxswain? That's cool."
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm guessing that's somebody on the boat. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Listen, I'm a lady, and I expect to be treated as such. Okay,
You're right.
All right.
My apologies. I stepped out of line.
Way over the line, buddy. Mm-hmm. Okay, watch yourself.
Got it.
Let's see.
Well, I'm curious why you were drawn to make a lot of money. Like it seems obvious. I think that's like a lot of people's ambitions when they're young.
Yeah.
I guess for people that don't have a lot of money growing up too.
Yeah. I mean, we were okay, but I think also my father passed away when I was younger, and I think I acutely felt that like loss of income, like income being halved, like very acutely, and I don't know why, because I'm sure, again, I don't know the details of how rough that transition was or not. But I just remember being like, man, things were so much better before, like in every way, obviously.
Yeah.
And I guess in my mind, like, well, I can't, zombie him and bring him back from the dead, but I can make money, and that might help fix things and take some stress off my mom and take some stress off me. And
because not having money isn't the way to get happiness.
No.
Isn't the way to become content.
My mom always said, Money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty doesn't buy anything.
Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is.
My mom and Kanye.
Just like synergy.
Peas in a freaking pod.
It's a great point. Like you have to have something. You need, but I think that's
good for your mental health. It's so stressful not knowing if your lights are going to be on, or if you break a leg, are you going to have to go begging on the street, or if you're going to have to prostitute yourself next month because you don't have any money for books. It's a constant stressor, and it's bad for your health. It makes you there are studies that show it physically makes you sick. And you're the person who can least afford to get sick. Yeah. So it's the irony upon ironies.
And then it adds more stress.
Right,
and
that adds
compounds.
more stress, it just compounds.
It is a first world problem, but it's a problem nonetheless. The fact that once you just focus on the money and you're just focusing on accumulating money, then you tend to go astray a little bit.
Right. And I think I realized that, especially studying economics, where I know a lot of people now who, worked for Goldman and Deutsche Bank and all that stuff, and they're miserable. They hate their lives a lot, and they have all this money and they don't have any time to spend it. And when they do, it's in an extravagant way, but I don't seem really happy. I know some people who are really happy doing it, but I knew I wouldn't be happy doing that even if I was making a lot of money. So it was kind of the next kind of big fork was, okay, if I'm not going to be an iBanker, okay, and I still want to make a lot of money, and I've got this economics degree, what am I going to do? And how can I do this? Is there any way to reconcile these things? And for a while, it didn't seem like there was. And I was kind of, especially my senior year, kind of freaking out, just being like, there's no way I can put these things together. Should I go to grad school? I guess that's what people do, right? I can go to grad school. Just freaking out. I should have taken the LSAT. The classic senior scramble, so to speak. And also I was do you know the term swug?
No, I don't.
A senior washed up girl.
No, it didn't really relate to me for whatever reason.
You were a swub?
No, swub maybe.
Yeah, I was slugging it pretty hard. I was just, some old mistress of the Lampoon, like walking about and being like, back in my day, this never would have happened. Yeah. Someone bring me a martini. I just was.
So I was slugged out.
I was slugged out so hard. That's gonna age me so much. People are gonna be like, nobody says that anymore.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
My cousin who's in college, like, I can't believe you said swag. What are you, like 30?
Yeah.
Almost.
Actually, yeah.
Yes. Yes, you little cunt.
Yeah.
There it is again.
There it is.
Got it.
It's great.
Check. So I joined Lampoon when I was a freshman. I think that was kind of the big turning point, because it at least gave me the option to go kind of into comedy directly out of college, which is how I got here. And I joined Lampoon because I was not good at sports, and even though I was captain of the debate team in Wisconsin, I knew I wouldn't even make the debate team at Harvard. I didn't even try. No way. Not good enough. Again, we were state champs in Wisconsin. Not even good enough to go to tryouts.
Yeah,
I was not, or maybe I was, and I just had no confidence. But because of amateur night and doing that little bit of writing that I did in high school, I guess I thought, and I'd won an award. I won Scholastic humor writing award, like best in the Midwest humor writing. I won a little medal and everything. Was invited to an event in DC, but they didn't pay for me to go, so I didn't go. At school, dummy.
Yeah, if they don't pay, you're not going. Yeah.
I don't get out of bed.
Yeah.
honey. Even Skype at that age, I'm like, no. Video conference, no. So I just went to Lampoon. Let's say Lampoon auditions. Like, we're singing and dancing. I just decided to try out for Lampoon.
So Lampoon, I actually had never heard of it, but it's a big deal. I looked it up. Pretty long Wikipedia page. Yeah, it's like over 120 years old.
It's 140 years
140 years old. I just rounded because I'm not good at math. 1870.
Rounded down by 20?
Yeah, that's nothing. Come on, in the grand scheme of things. No, 20 years is a big deal, right? This podcast has been on for 7 months.
I'm almost that age. That's like almost my whole life. Just round down by an existence.
Yeah, it didn't even happen.
Whatever.
Yeah.
A blip.
A whole generation. It's really long, and then long history, but also like a lot of amazing comedians and writers, and that have gone through there, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal to be a part of it. Like it's not pretty selective, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, it's a tough comp. That's what you call that. It's depending so clubs at Harvard have a comp, and depending on the joke is whatever. Depending on the club, it's either competition or competency. And so you comp to get on or whatever. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. You have to do a lot of writing, but it makes you good and it makes you sharp. And I think that's why people go on from it to have success.
Is that pretty common at Harvard to do work outside of your syllabus? Because I know I went to...
Yeah, it's a bunch of type A freaking weirdos who I took 12 AP classes. You think I'm not gonna? I work outside the syllabus. Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Most people don't do that shit though. Like at least I went to Temple in North Philly, and people didn't really like. At least in my department,
you didn't have a vibrant campus life.
It just required. It was like drinking and hanging out. Like more people were focused on that than like in my broadcast television department. Most people weren't going out and making their own shit and doing their own thing.
Lampoon is the opposite of making your own shit. It's an 140-year-old organization. It's the definition of buying into somebody else's shit. Like,
right?
You know, I mean, like, yeah, we're making a magazine, but we've been making that magazine for 140 years. It's not like.
I guess you're right, but at the same time, you're not following a certain guideline. Don't you have a lot of freedom to write what you want to write?
True in some ways, but there's still a lot of tradition. There's still a lot of, kind of. And I think that's, especially once I became president, that was kind of always the challenge of just trying to find the balance between tradition and trying to innovate. And, things have been done a certain way for a while for a reason, and so you don't want to, reinvent the wheel. But at the same time, sometimes you look at things and you're like, I just don't want to do it this way anymore. And why not? I'll do it some other way.
You said that there's like a lot of writing required. Like, what does that actually mean? How much are you writing and what does it entail?
So, I mean, to get on, you have to write a lot of comedy pieces, and you write several over the course of a whole semester. You spend a whole semester trying to get on this thing, and you still cannot get on at the end of the semester, potentially. And I think during my comp, I might have written, maybe 40 or 50 pieces of comedy.
Wow.
I mean, they're only like up like a page, but still, that's 50 pages. That's what a small thesis versus of stupid, really bad jokes.
Yeah.
So yeah. I write. Some people are like, I only had to write 10. And you're like, okay, you're a genius. I love you. But I was just churning through it, just trying to, kind of throw everything at the wall. That's generally my strategy of life. Just spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. See if I can catch a meatball.
Yeah.
That's it.
How do you know when you have something that's good? You write 140 pieces. How are you like, okay.
Oh, not 140, 40 or 50.
40, sorry. Yeah.
Whoa. I wasn't that bad.
As you can see, I'm really good with numbers.
Round up by 100, round down by 20 years.
Yeah.
Mathematician.
Yeah.
A mathematician.
I was an economist. Sorry. I wasn't the Ben Bernanke of the future. Yeah, but it's like, how do you know when something's good? Is it your gut or is it feedback?
You have what are called comp directors, and they tell you it's bad or it's good, and they actually pick. They're like, these are your best ones, so submit these, and we'll judge you on these. So you just basically keep coming to them with like, is this good? Is this good? And they're like, no, yes, no, yeah, no. That's basically. And these are that for weeks. Yeah.
Juniors
so like,
and seniors are looking at this.
Yeah. So I was a comp director and I tried to be nice. I remember the best thing about having two female literature comp directors, which I don't think had ever happened before, because it was me and the vice president, Eleanor Parker. Shout out to Ellie. Love her, my future wife, my future ex-wife. Wonderful. And we had a comper who just would argue with us. And it was the weirdest thing because we're the ones making the cuts. And so we say, okay, we think you should cut this joke and move this and this. And he would just say, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And we would look at each other and go, okay, so we're going to cut you, right? Like, do you know how this works? Like, I'm going to cut you if you don't do what I say. I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
It's what I think, and
You're the one that's judging
right,
whether they get through.
I'm the judge, so like I'm just going to eliminate you from the process. Like, why do you keep coming back? Like, do you want to be? It seems like you want to be eliminated because like you're not gonna outsmart me. I'm not gonna be like, you know what, he was right. I'm gonna say, no, this little cunt doesn't listen.
Yeah.
And then that's the first. You gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, it was the weirdest thing, and I don't think it happened to anyone else. And we're like, what is going on? Like, you don't argue. I would have never thought to argue. You're making the decision. You know, it's like the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing. It's like if. You know, if your waiter told you like, oh, you're not gonna have the gelato, you're gonna have the cheesecake, you'd be like, no, like, what? Do you understand? I'm not gonna pay for that, so don't bring it to me, and I can leave. Like, what this relationship is? That's how this relationship works.
Yeah.
You don't tell me what to do, okay? I tell you what to do. So it was very odd, but and I think it's like, you know, subtle things like that I think are definitely a sort of reflection of sort of race and gender dynamics sometimes, because you know, I'm sure he had never had a black woman tell him what to do before or disagree with him on something. So it's the first time for everything, boy. He
didn't get through, did he? Or did he? He didn't change.
Cut that motherfucker so fast.
Yeah.
Snip.
So this is what you became the president. Like, that's a big deal. That couldn't have been easy.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
Yeah. When did that happen? What year?
2014.
Or that was your junior year or senior year?
Yes, my junior year. So it must have been 2014 because I'm class of 2015. Yes.
Yeah.
2014.
What's the process?
It's like House of Cards. R.I.P. Kevin Spacey.
R.I.P. Damn. Man, you're like losing all your go-tos.
Woo! Talks about clearing Hollywood men out. All of them must go. Yep. It's a fire sale. 30% off. Yeah. All right.
Who would have thought? Men in power not being responsible.
Wow. Oh, no. Clean them out. Yeah. Roto-rooters. Just clean those pipes. Yeah. Get the scum out. Yeah, it's like House of Cards, just killing people, pushing them in front of trains.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah.
That was like 3 seasons ago.
Also, what spoiler? You don't know who pushed you in front of a train?
But then when they see the train scene, they're going to be like, this is it. Well, I think you all know
podcast, the middle of that podcast.
Yeah. They blew it. The one that I listened to 2 years ago. But
no, you run and you're elected. And it was a really hard time for me because my roommate had passed away in a car accident, and so it was just kind of a really like weird, happy, sad moment. I tried to be really open about talking about that because I think, especially in the Black community, in the comedy community, like we don't talk about mental health that much. But I started going to therapy for the first time ever because I was just like the saddest clown, you know, because I was trying to be president and stuff, and then also trying to sort of mourn her, and also not wanting to deal with it, and also trying to be a junior in college and have fun. And so it was just kind of a weird combination of like happy, sad emotions. And so I think going through that is one of my biggest challenges. And now when I get super like anxious or depressed or whatever, I just think like that was so much harder. You know, that just doing with all that much, I'm like, I can make it through that without completely offing myself. Then like, okay, like maybe I can do this. Maybe I can make it through Tuesday. Just like a casual Tuesday where I'm like a little sweaty on camera. Yeah. Maybe I won't just friggin' boff myself after this.
Right. It's all about the perspective. Okay. So you had this moment, this period where you started to get a lot of attention, which you called it. It was like a perfect storm of Black women comedy. Yeah. Talk about that month and that moment and why it was so significant and why you got pulled into it.
Well, because it was right when SNL was getting a lot of flack for not having any Black women and having Kenan Thompson just play all the Black women ever, and also not even having that many Black women hosts. So there was still just Kenan Thompson playing Black women. And they hired Shashir Zameda and Leslie Jones, and they were doing all of that. And also it was Black History Month. It was February, and so it just all, I told you, it was a perfect storm. It just all kind of coalesced, and it was a sort of thing. So I got elected, and a good friend of mine and a really important mentor figure to me is Michelle Martin, and she used to have this show on NPR. And I called her just because she knew I was running, and I called her to tell her I won, and she was like, "This is a story. Like, you and Ellie, come on the show." And so that was kind of, so we, you know, she was the one who, I guess, broke it or whatever. And then we got all these other calls, and, you know, I got to go on MSNBC. We got invited to Women's History Month event honoring Jill Biden. And so I got a really cool picture with Joe Biden that I use on my Tinder profile.
That's amazing.
And he said I was a feisty one, and he is right.
That's the greatest Tinder profile photo you could possibly do.
Right? Just
like,
me and Joe, like, laughing it up. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, you're crazy.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, Uncle Joe, man. Uncle Joe. So,
But you're just kind of thrown into this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, and that's the other thing. So that added to, like, the sad clown thingy, because it's like, oh, I'm going on TV now, and I don't really know how to be on TV, and I still don't know how to be on camera.
You're doing great.
We'll see about that, buddy.
Yeah.
See how Avatar you can make. It's like just CGI, like, you know, can you use, like, Snapchat filter, like Halle Berry?
Yeah. Or one of the emoji faces.
Yeah, like a poop emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Just, or eggplant. You know, like
eggplant.
Just a talking dick.
That's the penis. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think my voice could sound like a dick. You know, right?
Yeah.
This is a dick's voice.
If you were to be a character in a cartoon or a animated
think I'd
series,
be a
you'd be the dick.
Wow. Are you saying I would, or are you asking
Well,
me? If
it
I
just
would?
seems like
Because
you were
one of those
leading
is
me there.
Crossing the line, buddy.
That was like an alley-oop. You handed that to me.
I don't fucking care. You swatted away.
Yeah. Is this what, like, the writers' rooms are like? It's just chaos. It's like somebody's like, come on, guys, get it together.
I'm sorry. I can really be more focused if you want me
No,
to.
I actually
can
prefer
really
this.
MSNBC this shit if you want.
I actually prefer this. This is what, you know, my philosophy with this whole podcast is, if I'm enjoying the conversation, other people probably will as well.
I honestly think that's true. I feel like some of my favorite podcasts, and that's why I really liked Another Round. Shout out to Another Round. Because it was just us, like, talking, and we had, you know, questions and stuff, but we were just having fun. And I really like these two drag queens, Trixie and Katya. They have a show, and it's just them just talking about random stuff, and it's so funny. And I just like listening to them while I wash the dishes or something. And I'm just like, oh, these two goofballs. And so now they can listen to a beautiful baked potato of a black woman be verbally assaulted by this guy who has a slave table in his house.
You won't believe what this podcast just said to Alexis Wilkinson. You won't believe it. You know what's funny is nobody has noticed yet that I've done like 35 podcast episodes, and I've worn a gray shirt every episode. That's just it's the patriarchy. It's like, if I was a woman, I feel like they would notice.
Oh yeah, they'd be like, "Don't you have another shirt?
It's all
you
gray.
only have one shirt."
Yeah, there was that Australian guy did that. He wore the same suit for an entire year.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about that.
Was it part of minimalism?
It wasn't. Actually, Josh and Ryan, who were the minimalists, they just did an interview with the guy.
Right. Okay. That's why I thought of that, because I looked you up. And I watched it.
Sure. You did?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I did not listen to the podcast when I watched that.
Yeah. You're like, there's video on this podcast? What?
I did, because I told you, I'll end up either doing a weak imitation of somebody else I heard who I liked, or I will psych myself out. And if I knew there was video, I definitely wouldn't have showed up today.
That's good.
Maybe
I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't tell people that. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. And I swear to God, if you don't CGI this, it's gonna be some magic. So I want movie magic. I want Windows Movie Maker slide, like, star wipe.
It's gonna be CGI.
You know, I want, like, boing, like, you know, like, cool sound effects.
We're not going back there. We're not doing this.
Yes, we are. We're doing it. We're heading back to Dicktown. Choo choo. All aboard the train.
We had control of this thing.
Woo! Off the rails.
Yeah. Oh man, you know, I do these little teasers. It's gonna be impossible to teaser from this one. This is gonna,
boing.
Get that sound effect in. Boing. People get offended. It seems like, is this a new thing? People just get very offended very easily and outraged as well.
I think this is my big hot take on this whole, like, PC culture. Yeah. I think the thing is about comedy is, if the only judge of if you are funny is the audience. So if you can't perform at colleges or something, you're not funny anymore. That's just it. It's like, don't blame it on some cultural shit. Yeah, like, you're not the judge of objectively what's funny through all of time.
Sure.
You know, the audiences. That's what made you famous in the first place. It's not because you thought you were really funny. It's because the audience thought you were funny. So like maybe you know that's not the right audience for you anymore. You know, it's just like there's different humor for different times. It's like, you know, some things don't age well, and you know, and that's not an objective, you know, you can't just say it's just worse, you know, it's just such a stodgy, it's like, especially people who seem so progressive, like have such a stodgy view of like, comedy is just worse now. It's like, no, it's just probably harder for you now, you know, and that doesn't mean it's bad. I think we're in, you know, in a lot of ways in a real golden age of comedy, especially in TV and stuff. I think, you know, just even in my career, I've gotten to write for, you know, 2 amazing shows that are really funny and really progressive in their own ways, and you know, managed to do interesting things with interesting and diverse characters. You know, wow, who'da thunk it? It's, you know, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Also, when if you do have a big platform, comedy's always gonna offend somebody in some way, for the most part. It's pretty hard to be 100% clean, not offend anybody.
Right. I mean, the thing is, I think the word offend is thrown around so loosely. I mean, it's very rare that you hear someone say, I am offended. You hear people say, no, you're offended. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something makes me mad, if I don't like something, it's very rare. I'm not going to say, so, you know, say someone called me the N-word. I'm not offended. I'm not going to say, I am offended at the use of that word. I'm just going to say, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't get to fucking call me that.
Yeah.
And, you know, deck them. Deck them one good.
Uppercut.
Yeah. Wow. So the solar plexus, pow, cave that chest in. You know, they suffocate.
Yeah.
Have
you done classes?
You want to find out?
Yeah.
After dark.
Yeah. After dark.
I show him my chest boil and then I punch him in the solar plexus.
Yeah.
That's a good teaser.
That's a really good teaser. That's really good. See, you know how this works. You're giving me all the content I need.
All the juice, all the content you need.
That's a great point, because like it's just people are obsessed with talking about being offended.
Right, but that's the thing. People
headline.
don't. You're not offended. You're angry, or you don't like that, or
it's not funny.
Right, it's not funny.
Yeah.
I just don't find it funny, and I think I've definitely been in arguments with people where it's like they make a stupid, you know, tranny joke or something, and I'm like, I don't like that. That's not funny. I don't like it. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're offended. I'm like, I'm not offended. You didn't offend me. I'm not a transsexual person. You're not talking about me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm personally not offended. I just think it's bad. I just don't like it.
Do better with your jokes.
Right. That's just a bad
This
joke.
is constructive criticism.
Right. But I think now, because of this whole, and again, it's always people accusing you of being offended. You're never actually like, I don't know if I've ever heard someone say, I am offended. Mm-hmm. You're not offended. You know, you're angry. You don't like the joke. You're concerned. You know, it's not the word is not offense. You know, I take offense to that. Who even says that?
Mm-hmm.
Who would say that? It sounds crazy coming out of someone's mouth. But I think, you know, people say, oh, you're offended to sweep your real concern under the rug. You know, it's like, oh, she just doesn't like that because she's easily offended. It's like, no, I think you're a hack. That's why I don't like it.
Right.
And that's a little bit harder to take, ain't it?
Yeah.
You're just not funny. Mm-hmm. That's why.
You're just like, I think sometimes it comes from saying something just for the value of being shocking.
Yeah.
And being un-PC.
Right.
You're
and
like,
that's so easy. You know, anyone can just go around saying crazy words that we're not supposed to say anymore. Like, that's hard. That's hard hitting. Like, no, that's the easiest thing in the world. You know what's harder? Not doing that. Mm-hmm. You know, some of my favorite bits, right, like some of my favorite comedians, they go back and watch them now and I'm like, oh God, that's regressive. You know, like, ooh, like that, the way that was phrased is not,
it's not helping.
You know, like, oh, that's respectability politics. That's not good. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, oh, cut that out of that.
that never happened.
Yeah, I just threw that away. But I think there's the outrage is sort of just a weird, you know, don't fight with your audience. That's a fool's errand. Like, what are you doing? Don't fight with your audience. Just either make them laugh or don't. And then, you know.
Are you hesitant to put your stuff out there, in that once you do, like you said, a lot of the stuff, or some of the stuff at least, won't age well, or you'll look back at it. I always look back at work 2 years ago and think, oh man, like that's bad.
Oh
that's
yeah. I remember reading, I mean, I go back and read my old stuff all the time and think, oh my God, I'm a hack. I'm a talentless heck. And I always will be. But I tried not to let that stop me. And also I tried not to, I give myself room to grow. And I think also being Lampoon president and getting like actual like death threats, like kind of now, like this one guy kept sending weird packages to Lampoon building with like KKK songs in them. It was very weird.
Yeah, weird is the word for it.
Yeah, that's a word, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then like and pictures of him like in the shower. It was
Jesus
weird.
Christ.
It's once I got hit on by a neo-Nazi at a bar. Oh my God, it's crazy. Like there's a weird neo-Nazis want some of this, you know?
Yeah.
They really they want it. They want this baked potato.
It's those things where like in the Bible Belt, it's like porn searches are higher than any other area.
You know? Interracial.
Yeah.
You know, they want it. You know, that's
Yeah.
just a big psychic freaking
Yeah.
mind trip. I seriously in LA. I kid you not, got hit on by a neo-Nazi, an actual neo-Nazi with an actual swastika tattoo at the bar. It was crazy. It was insane.
Yeah, please tell me about it. Was he traveling or is this his home? He lives here.
I don't know, and I didn't. Okay, so I'm at the bar, right? And I don't even want to tell you what time it was. It was too late to be at the bar.
Yeah.
I was at the bar, and I'm like with a couple friends, and I'm just standing there, and there's this guy sitting in front of me. He has like red hair, and he's like kind of muscly, you know, typical kind of like white LA looking actor dude, like a little bit too muscly and too tight of a shirt, and you know, blonde or red hair. Or brown, any color hair.
Yeah, you pick.
White. And pick your hair. You know, it's a sim. Just create a sim. Yeah. And he's standing in front of me, but he's not ordering. And so I'm you know, do the thing where I'm like, oh, you know, do you need to order? Can I just order a drink real quick? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then he asked me what my name is, and he was kind of cute, and I was like, oh, Alexis, and he said, okay. And we're just talking, kind of, and I ordered my drink, and I just sort of, you know, oh, how's your night, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of a little drunk. I'm like, And I look and I see his tattoos, but I'm not, like, it's kind of dark, and I'm not looking too carefully at them. And he, I don't know what I said, but then he said something like, well, you know, that's because Jews control the media. And I went, what? and I was I'm kind of drunk, so I'm like, I'm looking at him like, is he Jewish? Like, is this like a self-deprecating kind of like, oh, we control the media. It's a mitzvah, you know?
Like, let me see the top of your head.
Right. Like, is he a mensch? Like, what are we doing here? Right? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know, Jews control the media. You should definitely try to expose yourself to some non-Jew-led media. And I looked at him and I was like, are you joking? Right? No, I couldn't read it. I was so, and then I just said, I don't know. I think I just made a mouth noise. And then because I was looking at him, and then I see that he has a literal swastika right there. And I went, oh my God, Nazi. And I was like looking for a button to push, like, where's, like 911, there's a Nazi here.
Yeah, we got
Nazi,
one.
we got one, like a net needs to drop. I'm like, where's like, I need like a life alert, like Nazi button. Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, who do I tell? Yeah. Like, somebody's got to know. Like, he's just right here. Like, he's talking to me and like hitting on me and stuff. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, it was crazy.
Oh my God.
And I think there needs to be a Nazi 911 button because I didn't, and I was like, what should I do? I'm like, do I fight him? Like,
do we have to go out back now? How does this work?
Like, there used to be a hand guy, like, you know, like, I'm like, is he really? I was just, and I was too drunk to, like, really process. And I'm like,
and you were enjoying the conversation so much. You're like, it was just that one thing.
Yeah, that's a weird thing about Jews. He's just weird about Jews. I'm like, but he seems to have no problem. I'm like, but then it really made me think, what is it about me that he thinks, like, I would be amenable to, like, anti-Jew talk? Like, here, buddy. Yeah, I hate those Jews too. Like, what? Don't use that as a soundbite. Teaser.
Hey.
After dark.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Alexis? Anti-Semitic? We'll find out.
Yeah. That's the headlines write themselves, really.
No.
Man, I feel like, but once, you know, for somebody like him to have those views, you tend not to be rational on all fronts. You know what I mean? Where I guess there's just a disconnect. He
seemed like a totally normal guy, except he has like a weird hang up about Jews.
Yeah.
You know?
Like everything else.
Right?
About him.
Normal and like very nice. He said I was pretty and like, again, and also, but I'm just like, why are you hitting on me?
Yeah.
Why do you think I hate Jews? I'm like, do I look anti-Semitic?
Yeah.
Like, why would you come up to me and think, you know what, this black girl hates shoes? I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
see what I can do.
Let's try to find some commonalities.
Let's find some common ground.
Yeah,
I bet I could hit that.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. The bar's closed. So let me get off in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me put a blast dish up. Put some chum in the water over here. See what I can rustle up. Oh Jesus! Like what? It was crazy.
Yeah.
A bar.
This
in
was
LA.
recently.
This was a couple months ago.
When'd you move to LA?
2 years ago, right after college. I moved out here and started working for VEEP a week after college graduation.
Wow. How did you get the job at VEEP?
So my the man who would become my boss, Dave Mandel, is a Lampoon alumni, and when I became president, he was on the graduate board, and so we had met a couple times, and he had read my stuff and liked my stuff, and just called me up while I was literally in the cafeteria eating lunch with my roommates, and he said, "Do you want to work on VEEP?" And I think I might have responded with kind of like, "As what? Like a janitor?
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna have me do? Sharpen the pencils? What was this?" And he's like, "No, like a real writer. You know, just a real actual writer." And so yeah, I couldn't say no to that. So packed up, moved to LA. I don't really like it. LA is just not my type of city. Generally, everyone's a little too pretty.
They're beautiful here.
I like going places where I'm a 10, like rural Louisiana.
Yeah.
You know, or like I don't know, downtown Minneapolis.
Well, I think like being single is the tough part, right? I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
So for me, oh my God, moving to LA.
I don't have to worry about it.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. No, it's
dickhead.
amazing, dude. It was hard. I went through it. I'm turning 30. I went through. Thank you. I had my struggles. I Tindered.
How's your sperm count?
I haven't checked.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I couldn't.
Is there a follow-up?
I couldn't help
it. We met on Tinder. Yeah.
Really?
A Tinder success story. Well, for now. Every Tinder. I feel like every Tinder success story is always for now.
Right.
Every success story
every
is for now.
success story is for now. I mean, does love even truly exist? We'll never know.
That's a good question. Probably not.
Right?
The true
One
love
person
thing
forever. I mean, there's so many people in the world. I know for a fact I am tiresome. You know?
Yeah, okay.
I said that to a guy recently, and he was like, you mean you get tired of people? I'm like, no, idiot. That's not what tiresome means. It means the opposite. It means people get tired of me. And I'm like, see, this is why we can't be, because you're stupid.
You can't even get
You're
it.
stupid.
Yeah.
You don't know what words mean. That pisses me off, but you're pretty. So like, let's make out or whatever.
Yeah.
God.
That's the problem with dating, is that you get sidetracked so easily. Like, I guess I'll kiss him.
Yeah, right. Just shut up.
Why not?
Doesn't know what tiresome
There's
means.
nobody else around.
Yeah, right. I guess there's neo-Nazis here.
Yeah.
When in Rome.
Yeah. Like, you didn't put that in your profile. That's bullshit.
But I didn't notice the red flags about the Jews, though. I should have noticed that.
That was right up front.
I did, but he was cute.
Yeah. If you like Joe Biden, so
he liked Joe Biden, but I hated the Jews.
Yeah. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it is. It's hard out here.
LA. So that part's not good. There's got to be other stuff.
The food is great. I love the food. The weather is okay. I do miss seasons. I can't tell if I'm aging very rapidly or like not at all. I don't know the passage of time.
Oh, okay.
It's so confusing without like cold.
Wisconsin must be terrible in the winter. Like, come on.
It is, but it's kind of Milwaukee for a while was the drunkest city in America.
Oh,
and
congrats.
Right? And that's fun because you just stay in the house, your door is frozen shut, and you just get wasted and throw your beer cans at deer that come in the backyard. And
so there's an explanation,
right? You go out to the frozen lake and have some, and your best friend from high school tells you they're bisexual, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like you can't get that in LA.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That sort of Dawson's Creek Degrassi ass shit can only happen in the cold place, my friend.
Yeah.
What do you do out here at Hollywood High? It's like go to a club. Freaking
makes you soft,
right? Soft.
Yeah.
Weak.
Yeah, so soft. That's what
like
I did.
Peach.
I lived in Brooklyn and New York for probably about 5 years, but that's part of that is like it's almost too hard and too just I feel like I need like a
it doesn't
massage.
make you hard, it just makes you mean. I think there's a difference between hard. We're hardy people. We can deal with the cold and the heat, but we're still very kind. New Yorkers are both whiny and mean.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not hard. You still complain about the snow all the time. You know, like you live in fucking New York. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean. But I love New York.
Love
because
it.
I'm mean. I'm a cunt. So
Yeah.
it
You
works
fit in.
for me. You know, I'm like throwing bows on the sidewalk, knocking babies out of shoulders. You know, like, woo.
Yeah, I think it's about being resilient. Because when I lived in New York, it's like to do your laundry, you'd have to like walk across 3 lanes of traffic.
Right.
And like,
you live in Brooklyn?
The snow, yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah, in Williamsburg.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
We didn't have a marble table back there.
I didn't shop at West Elm.
I moved up in the world, my friend.
Yes, I had the Flurgenderg from IKEA, but now I've got this beautiful
it's amazing.
Slave masterpiece.
That's what the name of this is going to be.
What?
The name of this episode. The marble table.
Marble table. A seat at the marble table.
A seat at the marble table. That's so good.
Teaser.
That's really good.
Teaser.
I
got you. We got neo-Nazis. We got teaser.
Yeah.
We got chest boils.
Yeah, we got it all.
This episode has everything.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's going to inspire some people. They're like, wow, I didn't even realize that this was possible.
The conversation could be so random.
Yeah.
That I can't even get like a one good through line.
No, there's a through line. We keep jumping in and out of it.
I feel like we're swimming. We're dolphining it.
Yeah, I'm proud of this episode.
Yeah.
Resilience and Brooklyn and LA. So LA, you think you're going to be out here for a while?
As long as I keep making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still that same hustling bitch at the end of the day. I kind of go where the money goes. So
yeah, I
could see myself moving to New York at some point, or, you know, I've been traveling a lot. I was in Sweden recently, and I was in Barcelona earlier this year. I love to travel. So, and I like, you know, making enough money where I can afford to do that. So I've been directing more, and so, you know, there's just a lot of sort of stuff going on. And
a couple years in this whole crazy
What do you mean?
You just moved out here a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You started working.
Yeah, it feels like both a very long time and a terribly short time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I guess it's been 2 years and some change.
Yeah.
And it feels like I'm like, oh, I've been out here forever. Why aren't I ridiculously famous already?
Yeah, why isn't it happening?
Yeah, I should have an Oscar by now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the other part of me is like, I've only been here for 2 years. Like, why am I so hard on myself?
Mm-hmm. It's the overthinking. I think that it just requires patience.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's just, I go through periods of, you know, I was in ill health for a lot of this year. And so I try not to be too hard on myself because of that, because it's like the health is the most important thing, you know, that you can have, and we only have one body, unfortunately. No matter how many people I kill, I can't.
We'll see. It's 2017. Right. We got 3D printing.
I'm keeping
coming.
them frozen, so, you know, I'm hoping that one day I can.
That's
just
good. Out in Wisconsin.
Yeah, underneath the lake.
Yeah, that's like a new show right there. That's an idea.
After dark, we go dig up those bodies.
Yeah. What kind of directing you been doing? That's exciting.
Like sketches. I have a movie that I wrote that I want to direct, and I have
wow.
producers for, so I'm very excited about that. We had a table read for it. It was awesome.
Really? Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was super, super exciting, and so yeah, it's all happening. And I was talking to friends recently, and I think a lot of my friends, I feel like I'm getting to a good place where I've managed to like. I know there's I feel like there's a whole like culture of like I cut people off like that, you know, and I definitely love that culture, because I feel like I've managed to cut a lot of like toxic people out of my life, and now like I just have like a really core group of like good people that like I can call them in the middle of the night and be like, I'm freaking out, and like girl, I'm freaking out too, and we can be like or like girl, calm down, it's gonna be okay. And so I think I'm really lucky for that, and I think it took a while to like develop that community of people, and I'm lucky. I think that I'm really close to my sister, even though she's in New York. Shout out to Rachel. I miss you.
What's up, Rachel? It's hard when you move away from family.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me coming out to LA. I was like, because I've got 6 brothers and sisters, and it's like,
oh my God, really?
Catholic. My mom is from a family of
man,
16.
fertile.
Yeah.
Your sperm count's probably great.
I know, it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be really good. I'm not even worried about it.
I don't want to brag, but
yeah.
After dark, we find out what that sperm count is exactly.
Yeah.
We go to the proctologist. Yeah. I booked the appointment myself.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty good. There's a lot. Yeah.
It's got to be pretty good.
It's got to be up there.
You don't sleep with your laptop on your lap, do you?
Yeah, I hear that's pretty bad.
Or your cell phone in your pocket. Keep your cell phone out of your pocket. Don't do it.
Oh my God.
It's right next to your balls.
It's funny. It's because like your whole life you try to not have kids, and then when you try to have kids, it's impossible. No. It's like, well, it's going to take 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my eggs might be just scrambled at this point. Teaser. Done. That's perfect. Holy shit.
I
mean, they're so... I feel like I told my mom...
You've been, like, jumping a lot or something? Just whisking your body? Like, yeah.
Woo! I'm going to churn. I told my mom, my sister had her white coat ceremony in New York fairly recently, and I went back. And I told my mom, and because I'm kind of seeing this guy, and who is older and, like, wants kids. And... like sooner rather than later, which has been like a weird thing for me. And I was like, Mom, my vagina is, like, uterus is like a boarded up old house. I feel like, like someone would knock and be like, hello, and there'd be like one solitary egg sitting there in a rocking chair being like, we haven't had a visitor in years, like like we're gonna have a baby in here. It's like, clean the cobwebs up, like, oh my God, something's happening. I'm like, I don't know if it's possible. It might be condemned.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Not gonna happen.
I've been taking birth control regularly since I was like 15. I wasn't having any sex. Nobody wanted to have. I was the least sexy 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Just not at all. Not American Beauty. None of that shit. American Horror Story. You're more like it,
Yeah. I feel like we had very similar childhoods.
Yeah. 6 of the sisters. High sperm count.
Yeah. Besides that, like, details. Let's not get too caught in the weeds here.
The weeds of sperm count.
Yeah.
Did you have another more topical question you wanted to ask?
About, like, struggling and working hard and, like, the show. Well, I guess, so you're starting to direct now, and you're starting to, was there ever this feeling of, what's next? Like, what should I do now? Now that you got these great shows under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, that's all, I think that's the constant feeling. I feel like, that's my lowest points are when I'm not thinking that. I'm always trying to, one, expand my portfolio, because I feel like, I mean, my dream is to, 20 years from now, be able to, like, just walk into any company or whatever and, like, creatively get whatever I need done, like Shonda Rhimes style. I'm like, I'm making a graphic novel. Assemble.
Yeah.
It's graphic novel time, that's what I want. Or like a television, I might have a television show, a movie, a graphic novel, and I'm doing a 1-act play also. Just because I can. And, everyone's just going to make it happen for me because I'm that good. And so I think, I've written articles and stuff and done, now I'm doing movies and TV. I wrote for the Emmys, and I'm directing and, so just kind of adding more and more feathers to my large, voluminous hat.
Right. I think that's like the goal for a lot of people, is to get to a point where they can do anything creatively that they want, right. That they can just say, okay, I have this idea, let's make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you also have to enjoy the work that you're doing now, because sometimes when I was making minimalism, it was very stressful. I worked really long hours, like 12-hour, 13, 14-hour days, like for 3-4 months straight, editing, working towards a deadline. It was just living off of peanut butter sandwiches and coffee. And
I love peanut butter sandwiches.
It was
Wait, crunchy or creamy?
I mix it. Like I like the crunchy. I don't. What?
I'm gonna leave.
I saw myself answering. I was like, what would Alexis want? Because I don't have a preference.
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm
whatever
leaving.
You want. Yeah. No, I like crunchy. I generally. Oh, dude, I get the crappy like Whole Foods organic that you have to like stir.
Oh God, why do you hate yourself? And why do you spend so much money to hate yourself?
It's right there. Whole Foods is close. Trader Joe's is good, but they have the
throw it away for you.
Trader Joe's is the same shit. It's cheap, but it's also
don't go to Trader Joe's.
They
Go
don't-
to Vaughn's, you freaking
Where is that?
millennial.
They don't even have it around
What's
here.
wrong with you? Yes, they do. Go to the freaking 7-Eleven on the corner and get it for $2.
Yeah.
Yeah, goddamn.
Nah,
you
I
and
like-
your marble table and whatever you with your Whole
Yeah,
Foods
yeah.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
You might as well just eat a fucking peanut.
It's
okay.
yeah,
it's
exactly.
cheaper. Get a big bag
It's
of peanuts
healthy.
and just make your own butter. You know?
I'm on a 30-day vegan challenge right now. That's probably
I
gonna kill
hate
you inside.
so much.
Yeah, it's like you're literally you're dead.
I'm after dark punching the solar plexus.
yeah.
It's happening.
It's gonna be like Mortal Kombat style. That's like I hate myself. My whole family hates me. They've actually abandoned me at this point because like you moved to LA. He's doing yoga.
Oh yeah,
I'm not doing
like,
yoga
he
yet.
looks great. He's glowing. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah,
No,
like-
I haven't gotten in my LA. My goal for this year, so I just turned 25 on the 11th, and my goal for this year is to just get like sickeningly good looking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna like lose 50 pounds, gain 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Like, be able to crack a walnut with my ass cheeks.
Ooh, that's a good.
Right.
See, it's good because you're not. It's not like these superficial goals. It's like you're getting real specific.
Yeah. I'm gonna like have just a bunch of walnuts in every week. Just give it one try
That's
until I get there.
Also, good to fall back on if this whole comedy thing doesn't work out. That could be a business.
Right. I'm like
The
one
Nutcracker.
woman show.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
one woman show where I make a fun nut salad.
Yeah.
Using all sorts of body parts.
Yeah.
I've got a nice hard head too.
Yeah. But that was always a thing for you, right? Where like you had to have the fallback. Like really, like you have the
for
degree,
sure,
you
for
have
sure.
something that's there.
Yeah, my fallbacks include well, I have my economics degree. I think I could always go get my MFA. Which I almost did right after college. I think about maybe going to graduate school in some other capacity. And then, of course, there's always the oldest profession, prostitution. And
It's always there.
and my vagina is dusty, but not that dusty.
Yeah.
Still can fetch a nice price on the open market.
Yeah,
You know? And now
that's
with the
true.
technology these days, I won't even have to leave my house. I can just do in-calls.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably have an app for it at this point.
Boop. Yeah, you know, just bing, bing, bing.
Make money.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Make $1.15.
I can't do that. I can't fall back on prostitution.
I'm sure you will.
I can
pretty
fall
yourself
back
up.
on pimping. I'm a young, savvy business owner.
An entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah. He made an app.
Yeah. He made a pimping app.
Yeah, pimper.
Yeah. Pimper.
There's no E. It's just the,
it's
the
the
R.
R. It's
Yeah.
just the R. Pimper.
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard about Rumble? I don't know if it's real or not, but have you heard
Is that the one, the fighting
Yeah,
app?
I love that one so much. That was my favorite potentially fake or real app. I was like,
Yeah.
Rumble, I want
People got really upset about that.
I loved it. I was like, let me fight.
Yeah.
I broke my first nose in the 3rd grade, homie. I was a scrappy
you were
young
ready to
thing.
go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, American Horror Story. Nobody was trying to like get with this, so
That's-
that was a lot of.
Yeah, I'm just
Knuckling
thinking
up.
now, that's one of those things, like a lot of people, when they go on Tinder, these online dating sites, are like, well, they look nothing like their photo. Potentially dangerous with that app, because then you're like, oh my
Who am
God,
I
they're like
fighting?
7 foot tall.
Also, but no, who am I fighting? Like someone just comes up and decks you.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, it was you.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't. You know, I
There's
was
no
looking,
opening
I was looking
bell?
for a guy with a red hat, like you know,
Yeah.
like, and he just comes up from behind his freaking
Yeah, knocks
sucker
you
punch
out.
you.
Like, I thought there was gonna be a
Right in the
bell or
kidney.
something.
Yeah, right in the kidney. And he's got dreads now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right, 0 for 1.
all right, fair enough. You got
Find my
me.
next fight.
Find my next.
Yeah.
Oh, only 5 miles away. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Uber.
Yeah.
Quick lift to the fight.
The future's pretty great. I'm pretty excited about where it's going.
I mean, late stage capitalism where we have to rent out everything that we own.
Yeah. It works pretty great for not when you don't
Airbnb,
own
Uber
something.
and Lyft, yeah, where we own absolutely nothing and just use the products of our production as our labor as well.
It's probably good for the environment and stuff, I guess.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it?
These things are too big and complex for me to understand.
I know. This is I
I can't even
We've
get
gotten
my
into
numbers
a lot
right.
of issues today already, and I'm like, my head is spinning.
Yeah. We
We've-
left people more confused.
I don't know if we've elucidated anything.
Yeah. But I think that's what life is. It's very confusing.
It is. It's just a messed up world, man.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out which direction to
Do you
head.
think? Do I have a deep voice to you?
I don't think so.
I can never tell because I can get very screechy. I think I have like a good range.
You have a range.
You know,
I have a range,
I have
too.
A range. Can you sing?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Can you carry a tune?
No.
You tone deaf?
I don't know if that's a thing, but
That is a thing. What the fuck you don't know?
Somebody said, actually, that's a myth.
My ex-boyfriend was tone deaf. I swear to God, you'd say like, jingle bells, and he'd go like, jingle bells, jingle bells. Like, I swear to God. And you're like, can you hear? Like, can you hear? Like, he couldn't sing even just nursery rhymes, like, at the correct.
I'm in the middle. Like, when I started to play guitar, it helped a little bit, but I definitely can't sing. I started guitar thinking, be like, I'm going to be the next Jack Johnson. Like, this is going to be a thing.
And then, like, you're one of those. You're, like, insufferable.
In high school and college, come on. Like, everybody had that face.
Every white guy had that
Everybody's
face. Correct yourself.
I need to get a guitar.
Yeah, did you grow your hair out long? Do you have a rat tail?
Okay, I'm not going to answer that. I didn't have a rat tail.
I called you so quick.
If you saw it,
I pegged you like that. Just poop.
Yeah, it was done. I had a bird's nest. I had the big puffer, and I'd always have to wear a beanie because it was just.
Oh, not the beanie.
Yeah.
Not the kid in the beanie.
I have to because it was just
in the beanie.
Yeah,
that's the look.
The transition to like doing this, where I showed forehead, I made it all sexy.
That's how you know you're an adult. You're a grown man now.
It was a big transition.
Grown sexy time. Yeah, show a little forehead.
Yeah, I was really nervous about it.
Show the ladies that low brow.
Yeah. I didn't do well with the ladies before they didn't see my forehead.
No,
they couldn't trust me.
Not in college. What's he hiding in that beanie?
Yeah.
It's full of secrets.
Yeah.
You didn't do well in college?
No, not really. No, I was dating somebody going into college. It was like the
rookie move.
Yeah, like in high school.
Classic rookie move.
Hey, let's do this long distance thing.
Everyone said
she was a year below me. So my first year, I was in a relationship, and then she went to college, and then we broke up.
Yeah, that's
as you do.
Actually, I do know some people. I mean, the thing is, you either do that or you get married. Those are the only options.
Yeah.
You don't do somewhere in between.
I think I knew where it was heading, but I was too much of a pussy to speak my mind and actually be honest with myself.
Emotional honesty is really hard.
Yeah.
And that's why I hide all of mine behind a thick layer of humor and just emotional fallacies.
Yeah.
So no one can really figure out how I'm feeling at any given moment. This is a very vulnerable moment for me right now.
Are you like that in a relationship where it's all jokes? But then you have the real talk, right? You get the real talk.
I do get the real talk, but also I have a crazy temper. I get a little temper. I get a little testy. I get testy, especially when I'm stressed out. I dated a guy who came from a very sort of like emotionally reserved family, and come from a big family of yellers. We yell, and like we can yell and then it's over, and then we don't. We've settled it. We yelled it all out now, but it's he'd be like, "Why are you yelling? Like stop yelling! Like you seem so much madder than you are. Like I'm not even that mad, but I'm like screaming.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. And so,
but that's how you show affection.
Yeah, that's like my love language.
Yeah,
screeches.
I didn't see that in the book. The love languages. Like, that's the 8th love language.
Yeah, that's my mating call. Just like high-pitched witch wail, a witch being thrown off a ship in a storm,
That's what's hard. I mean, I think for me, like, humor in a relationship is one of the most important things.
Yes, I can't date a guy who's not funny.
Yeah, and, like, it's just, like, you have to enjoy yourself, and you can't be serious all the time. Yeah. But you do have to have the real talks. You do have to have, like, communication is so important as well.
It's so important. I think, I think I've gotten a lot better about, and I mean, I'm that one of those friends who, I give myself very good advice, and I give my friends very good advice, but I very seldom follow my own advice. But I'm a big believer in, like, DTR, guys, define the relationship, because I think everybody you get in your feelings and you get hurt when you don't just have the conversation. And like if you break up of your situationship, as most of these things usually are, like because you decided to be like, hey, and I mean don't do it in like a needy like, what are we? What's going on? Are you sleeping with other people? Blah blah blah. But just be like, yo, dude, what's up? I've just gotten way better about that. Be like, listen, here's the deal. This is a casual thing right now. And like, if you want to be monogamous, then you be monogamous. A lot of you people coming out here claiming you're ethically non-monogamous. No, you're fucking not. That's a lie. You're not polyamorous. You a hoe. Okay? So just own your hoe. Your hoe. I was just in a writer's room like a week ago, and I had this whole rant about hoe-ness and hoe lifestyle. And I was just like, I'm a hoe and I own it. Okay, I'm not polyamorous. I'm not blah, blah, blah. No, I date multiple people at once and then figure out which one I like. That's just it. And like, don't try to make it a pathology or something bigger than that. And another thing, I just was talking to this guy I'm kind of dating last night about this, where it's like you're not a sociopath or you're not emotionally stunted. You're an asshole. You're just a regular old asshole. Don't make it a pathology so you can feel special. You're not special. You're just a dick. Like, you just don't care enough about people to be nice to them. Like, you're not a sociopath. You're not, emotionally stunted. There are millions and millions of men like you. Most men are like you. And, like, I feel like, people pathologize things so that way they can get away with them. Like me being a Libra, for example.
Exactly, yeah. It's a great excuse.
I can just never make a decision.
Yeah. That communication is so important. I learned that, too. It's like you go through so much stress with so many relationships because you are like, oh, but what are they going to say? Oh, are they not going to like me? Oh, am I like, just stop overthinking it. Have a conversation
just do
like
it.
an adult.
And the thing is, like, whatever comes of it was going to come of it anyways. That's the thing. Like, it's never been, if you're really liking someone and they don't like you as much, you were going to break up anyways. Yeah. So there, just rip the freaking Band-Aid off and move on, girl.
Unless you're like a weirdo and you say it on the second date. like give it some time. Yeah. There's a balance. There
definitely is a balance.
Well, because that's the thing. You got to play a little bit of a game. You can't over communicate in the beginning. Yeah. But then once you break through those walls, then you can open yourself up.
Yeah. I usually just do it kind of by time. I feel like after I had a friend who had been dating this guy for I think almost 7 or 8 months. And, like, have never had any sort of relationship talk at all. I'm like, girl, it's been 8 months. Like, is he dating other people? Do you know? Like, do you care? Like, and she's like, yeah, I wouldn't want him to. And I'm like, well, why don't you? It's been 8 months. Like, it's like shit. You could have a baby. It's over. You could have been pregnant and had a baby in the time it takes you. Like, a life could have been created. Like, that's for me. Like, 9 months. You need at full term. It's a full term relationship, and we need to talk about what's going on here because then you act all shocked when it comes out that, like, oh, he's dating 3 other girls or something like that. It's like, girl, you didn't have to talk with him, and so you can't be mad.
You want to do quick questions?
Yeah. Okay. Fire round.
Let's wrap it up. This is gonna be. We'll do a couple questions.
Rapid fire.
It's quick questions, not quick answers, though. So.
Oh, okay. Fine.
I mean, you just take as much time as you want with them.
Okay.
What book has made the biggest impact on your life?
I'd probably say Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut. I just really like it. I don't know if it has the most impact, but it's one of my favorite books, and I think it's just. I just really love Kurt Vonnegut as an author, which I feel like is very cliche for some reason, but I like Kurt Vonnegut. I think it's funny, and especially when I was sort of still doing like sciencey, mathy stuff, it was kind of like right up my alley of like humor and math and science. That, and I think Ant Farm by Simon Rich, which was the book that this guy Zach gave me when I was first comping Lampoon, and I think he read my stuff. I was like, oh, she's bad, and gave me that book. I was like, here. Read this. This will make you better.
Do you read more than you watch?
No, absolutely not. I need to read way more.
It's hard to find time.
I'm basically illiterate. I have someone
dictate everything. Yeah.
I'm like, jot this down. It's a joke. Yeah. All right, you ready? Penis. P-E.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have a 1920s like radio. I was like, write this down. Yeah. I don't know what accent that was.
Children, gather up.
Mama's going to spin you a yarn.
What one skill have you leveraged in a way that you think others haven't?
Ooh. One skill have I leveraged?
These are like college entry
questions.
Bullshitting.
But I'm a great liar. I think because I am just so ridiculous that people can't tell when I'm lying usually. Or not necessarily lying. I think I actually wrote a whole article, I think, about being a good bullshitter. And in the sense that like, like fudging little things on your resume or just convincing people that I can do things that I have not done. Like my first job was, not my first job, but my first job in college I was interning at an e-commerce company out in Queens, living in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn Heights in a frat house that I found on Craigslist for $500 a month. That's a whole other can of worms as a story. But I had to take the train into the city and go back out of the city. Oh, it was a shit show. And I remember my boss came up to me and I just got on Lampoon and I was just looking for something to do and I wanted to be in New York and I found the job ad on Craigslist, went out there, moved out there. And my boss comes up to me and he's like, hey, Alexis, you write for The Onion, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, something like that, yeah. And so he's like, okay, here, can you write copy for all these gag gifs? And I was like, yeah, definitely, totally, completely. I don't know how to write copy. I'm not a copywriter. I mean, I applied for a job as a copywriter. I'd never written a word of copy in my freaking life. I just, so I'm a good liar. And I also, because I think I'm a quick learner. So by the time you figure out I'm lying, I've already figured it out.
Yeah. That's like ethical lying, like it's lying that doesn't hurt anybody, but you're also not really lying.
No.
You're just omitting facts.
Yeah. It's an alternate.
Or stretching truth.
Facts.
Alternative facts. Yeah. Alexis has her own facts.
Yeah.
No, but I think you have to do that in the beginning. It's crazy because you have to get the opportunity to get your foot in the door as long as you're going to back it up and work your ass off.
Exactly. And I think that's the other thing. I try to, my mom also used to say, like, show and prove, like you can do a whole lot of this, but like put the cards on the table, make the results. So, I try not to get myself in situations where I can't produce the results. And, once I produce the results, you're not going to be mad that I lied to you. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like, oh, it's so great. I have this person, on my team.
So what does drive you?
Money.
I'll
take money for $500, Alex. No, I mean, I don't know. I want to be able to support myself and support my family. Money and having control, like, I think money is more of a proxy for just control over my life.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the easiest proxy for that, if that makes sense. You can't control a lot of things. And especially in my life, like, I've experienced a lot of death, especially like random death. Like my dad just randomly getting stage 4 colon cancer and dying within a year. And my roommate in a car accident, and my own health issues, and, and just sort of all these random things that you can't control. But I can be sickeningly wealthy. And that is one thing that I know that I can do, and that can help alleviate other problems. And I think in addition to that, just having creative control, and I think those all go hand in hand, where, like, the more money I make, the more I can be able to be like, I'm not doing this, I don't want to do this, I don't need to do this for the money because I have money. Mm-hmm. And I can just do things that are really creatively fulfilling to me, and tell the stories that I want to tell. I mean, my manager's gonna hear this and like, you sound like a comedy prostitute, Alexis. It's like, say you like writing jokes. I love writing jokes.
Yeah,
I love writing jokes.
If I would do it for free, if I could.
No. Don't do anything for free.
Yeah.
No, I think just having creative control, and that's why I started directing, and I like it so much. It's because, especially for like a control freak like me, it's like, oh, I can have my fingers and everything. It's like, it's kid in the candy stuff. I love. I just like, I want all the levers in my life. I just want all the buttons, all the levers. I want to be in the control seat at all times, and I feel like the more things I can use to make that happen, the happier that I generally am. I just don't like feeling out of control. So maybe that's more what drives me. Control. That sounds scary too, doesn't it? Mm.
That you're out of control,
or like, no, that I just need control.
Yeah,
but
the money
Stalin-esque thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people have a negative relationship with money. Like of needing money, of thinking that money is a bad thing. I don't think it's inherently good or bad.
No.
I think most people are really bad with money, though.
Yeah.
They're not smart with their money.
Yeah, I go back and forth. Sometimes I splurge some when I should save, and vice versa. But
right. We make all these excuses like, well, I worked really hard. Right. I did this, and this, so I deserve to buy this marble table. Yeah.
Slaves?
Yeah. You gotta stop saying that.
You're not gonna be able to cut it out.
No. It's in. The whole marble thing. God damn it. This is gonna ruin my reputation. I'm going nowhere in this town.
She said slaves 8 times on my podcast.
Yeah. Not getting out of that one.
Bring it up.
No, but I think money is important. I graduated with $100,000 in student loan debt.
My condolences.
Yeah, and I bought a new car. So
what I was like, wrong with you?
I was an idiot. I was a kid.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Who told you to do that? Ride a bike.
To my benefit, it was a Kia, so it wasn't a great car. But
if it was a scooter, that'd be too expensive for you. You need a unicycle.
No, I made mistakes. Mistakes were made.
Where'd you even get the credit to buy a car with $100,000 of debt,
My
Mom?
parents co-signed. They co-signed, but I paid that shit off.
Some of us parents have terrible credit. And
don't
get to do that.
Yeah.
Now do we? And
honestly,
turn to Craigslist for jobs.
I wouldn't actually. I'm not gonna do that for my kids. I'm not gonna co-sign. That's crazy. You can't co-sign.
Get out there and make some money. Go.
Just don't buy the thing.
Do like old days where you made your kid put on some blind man's glasses and a hat and made them beg with a tin cup in the street.
Yeah.
While they were still cute.
Yeah.
That's what make my kids.
We need that.
Like, get out there and dance.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shake a tail feather. Make a dollar. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's not my problem.
Yeah.
Nobody helped me.
Yeah, that's what Questlove did, drumming on the streets in
Right?
South Philly.
Get yourself some buckets,
get some
grow a
pots and
fro.
yeah,
All right?
yeah.
And figure it
Step
out,
one,
buddy.
step two. That's great. I should get Questlove on the podcast. Actually, speaking of getting like big people on the podcast, important people, I'm trying to get The Rock on my podcast. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a photo of The Rock right over your shoulder.
I did see it, and I did do the sign of the cross.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. I try to make sure everybody, as they come through the door, it's beautiful. Yeah, so that's my big stretch goal, is if I can get The Rock on the podcast. It's about people's stories of building something from the ground up, and The Rock is the ultimate sign of somebody who's had an amazing story, but he's also continued to hustle and make it happen.
Yeah, and that's a great photo. I saw a couple people dressed like that for Halloween.
Oh, really?
Great.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Classic.
Yeah, people are doing it now.
Cool.
This is actually me embodying The Secret. Do you
have a vision board?
Yeah. No,
This is like
I was actually
board?
gonna do that with like 1,000 photos of that image, just like duplicated. This is gonna be
I
like.
just burped in your microphone.
That's okay. That's quite all right. But I think this could actually go into like having evidence. Like if he does come on the podcast, I think that's a pretty good evidence for The Secret does exist.
I believe in The Secret. I definitely manifest things, and I think
I'm too afraid to not believe in The Secret.
I mean, what's the harm?
What's the harm in believing
what's it gonna do? Make you believe in yourself too much? Oh,
yeah.
What bad thing can happen to you? Like, what's the worst that can happen?
The worst that can happen is that you're just the annoying person that always talks about The Secret.
Yeah.
And like, just be positive. You're like, I can't. Some terrible things are happening right now.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
I
think talking about The Secret is annoying.
Yeah. I don't know why you brought it up.
Yeah.
It's pretty annoying that you did that.
It's definitely not a joke. I'm definitely 100% serious about The Secret.
No, okay.
Because you can't let them know. You can't let them know.
Yeah.
That you don't believe.
What are you whispering? Who's Tom Cruise?
The Secret.
Like, who are you whispering for? Who's
Jim Carrey and Tom Cruise come in.
Who's listening? Why'd you look around? I hope you put that in there. He looked around. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah, you never know.
No, I don't believe.
They're listening right now.
They're in my head. I believe in the secret in a certain thing. I think my life. I mean, I try to. I think I do very regularly is just like remind myself how like super fucking dope my life is already. Like I've already done so much more than I ever thought possible. Like I got to meet Joe Biden, man. Yeah. You know, Katy Perry called me out first name and last name on Instagram. All right, which was dope, and I didn't even have an Instagram at the time.
Shit.
It was dope. It was so cool.
What'd you do? Like when you saw that, you just lose your shit.
So my friend said I didn't have an Instagram, and so my friends and they're like, "Oh my god, are you best friends with Katy Perry?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And they sent me the post where it's like, "Shout out to BJ Novak and Alexis Wilkinson," and I was like, "Ah!" So in fact, cool. she couldn't even tag me because I didn't even have an Instagram.
Damn, you blew it.
I blew it.
Early mistakes.
But I mean, obviously not just like celebrity stuff, but like I got to be president of Lampoon, and I have a Harvard degree. Like, what am I really mad about? You know, like what am I really upset about? Like I think I've already, you know, I think I could like die happy. You know, like I've done so much more than, you know. Even right now, like I say this to my friends sometimes, especially when like we're having a particularly good night. I'm like, you know, some people on earth will go their whole lives and never have a day as good as this one. Ever. Yeah. Never be as like healthy and happy and well off and hopeful about the future and have the opportunities that we have right now. Like half of the people on earth probably. You know? So I just try to remind myself of that, and then, you know, then I'm just like, okay, let's focus on the next thing. What am I really complaining about at this point? You know?
Right. What one thing should people read, listen to, or watch before they go to bed tonight?
This is a time for a plug, right? Plug time. You should watch the episode, two things. You should watch the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine called Serve and Protect, from not this current season, but the past one. I appear on camera. I make my small screen debut. You can see my head very clearly in the scene where the writers of this fake show appear. And so me and the guy I wrote the episode with both appear. So it's very meta. So watch that episode, Serve and Protect, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I wrote the episode as my first like written by credit of TV. So very exciting. And then also go on Funny or Die and watch PC Plantation. If you search PC Plantation and Funny or Die, it should come up, and that is my like directorial debut. You should check that out too, and follow me on Twitter and watch my tweets.
Great. So that's if people want to connect with you online, Twitter's the place to go.
Yeah, definitely. I answer my DMs most of the time when I remember, and it's at Oh God, it's Alexis. It's pretty easy to remember.
You've got great tweets.
Thank you.
Yeah, really fun.
I try I do the best I can for the people. You know, it's a service.
All right, Alexis, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Woo! We did it, right?
We did it. That was
great. All right. Woo! Okay, that wasn't so bad, was it?
So I told you guys that this one was a little bit off the rails. I hope you had as much fun listening as I did talking with Alexis. I'm pretty sure that there was a positive message somewhere between the lines of this show. I'm sure of it. A lot of great insights there, but I think at the bare minimum, you can just see how somebody's path can change radically and how you really need to go with your gut and really pursue what you're passionate about, pursue what you love. And if biomedical engineering isn't for you, if you feel like you're not going to be happy doing it, please do not do it just for the money. There's plenty of job options out there for you. There's plenty of career paths out there where you can make good money and still fulfill something that you're passionate about, still fulfill those desires in you. You guys can follow me on social media. If any of you guys follow me on social media, I've been creating these really short inspirational videos from the podcast. Instagram is really the best place to find me and get those little daily hits of inspiration. You can find me at Matt Diavella. That's MattDavella. Those who have been following me there know that I've been working on an Indiegogo campaign with some friends. I partnered to create the videos and help with the messaging behind a physical product called Pact. It's spelled P-A-K-T. And the campaign is coming to an end, and it was really successful. So up until this recording right now, we've got over $900,000, close to $1 million in crowdfunding for that campaign, which has been amazing for me and the others on the team, including Josh and Ryan from the Minimalists. It was really an opportunity to see if we could sell a physical product ethically, responsibly, morally, in a way that really aligned with our values. So that was, it was certainly a learning lesson in what it takes to bring a physical good to the market. I think obviously with the crowdfunding campaigns and Indiegogos and Kickstarters of the world, it's become much easier and much more affordable to do that. Though there are always costs and different aspects of the process that you don't really fully understand until you take part in it. So for that alone, it's been an amazing experience, and looking forward to seeing how this grows beyond the campaign. I guess I should describe what the actual product is. It's a bag. It's a travel bag. It's essentially I would call it a minimalist travel bag. It's something that you can you should be able to use in replacement of every other bag you have. So it's got the ability to store a lot of stuff, store not so much. It acts as a duffel bag, a carry-on bag, a laptop bag, and everything in between. It's really neat in how they designed it. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big fan of design. I certainly take that to heart in everything that I do, and this is one of those products that I think is beautifully done. I actually personally don't use the bag. I think it's great, but it doesn't really fit my lifestyle perfectly because I'm more of a backpack guy. Just for me, in terms of getting around quickly and easily, I find having the two straps on a backpack is more comfortable for me, though lots of people have apparently gotten value out of this pack bag because we've sold, I think, close to 5,000 at this point, which is pretty cool to see that response. So I think you still have time now. If you go to gopact.com, that's GOPAKT.com, and from there you'll be able to potentially crowdfund and get a bag for yourself if you want it. But as we've been saying from the very beginning, if you do not need a new bag, then please do not buy this bag. We are still minimalists. We still believe that you should be very thoughtful and intentional about every single decision that you make, everything that you bring into your life. So if you don't need a new bag, please do not buy this bag. Next week is a really exciting episode. We've got Asher Roth on the podcast. Many of you will know that name. He is a rapper best known for his hit song I Love College, which actually came out 7 years ago, around 7 years ago at this point. And he's been busy since then. His path is amazing. So he went from being thrown into this system and the big major record label system tied to hundreds of thousands of dollars in industry money, and unplugging from that system and trying to find his own way and his own path and going the independent route since then. And he's put out some incredible music that I really want to encourage everybody to go check out. But his story to getting there is just as good, just as inspiring. And we talk about sneaker culture and some of the problems with buying compulsively. We talk about being conscious and being aware of your surroundings and creating art in a meaningful way. So definitely stay tuned for that one next Wednesday. Lastly, to wrap it up, if you want to leave a review for the Ground Up Show, that would be hugely helpful in getting the word out. It's super simple. It takes 10 seconds to do, but it really makes a big impact on the show, and it really helps to get the word out. It increases the visibility through iTunes rankings, so that way more people will be able to see the show and get value from it. And also it'll just allow me to keep doing what we're doing here, which has been really enlightening for me. It's been such a learning process. It's given me the ability to meet with some amazing and bright individuals, people like Alexis, people like Asher, and everybody in between. Like at this point, I've interviewed filmmakers, I've interviewed journalists and comedy writers and comedians, rappers. I've got coming up on the show, we've got photographers, we've got, who else? News anchors. Hint, hint. We'll see who that one is. There's a lot of really, really good guests coming on the show that I'm excited about, and it just keeps growing. And I think one of the coolest things about this, and one of the things that I wanted to do all along, and this is one of the reasons why I actually talk about the podcast on the show, and I talk about the growth and what I'm trying to learn, what I'm learning from the show and what I'm trying to bring into it, is the fact that talking about the experience of growing this thing will actually help and teach other people how to grow their own fill in the blank, whether it's a podcast or a blog or a graphic design business. You're watching me build this thing from the ground up. I started with practically no listeners, and it's been all about following the principles that I have learned from the very beginning. And what I learned through my own freelance business is put in the hard work, do it every single day, put your head down, keep going, keep working, keep busting your ass and changing it up, experimenting, trying new things, and above all, learning. So that's been an amazing experience from this podcast. And yeah, it's a little bit meta to talk about the podcast within the podcast, but like I said, I think and I hope that you guys have gotten some value out of that. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Just want to thank you guys again for listening, and we'll see you next week.